Welcome to newspaper analysis session for July 23rd. So topics that we are going to cover today are about the AK-203 rifles, and then we will also study about the manual scavenging. What is happening with this? Why the issue is still persisting? What kind of concerns associated with it? So we need to study about this thing because this is a very important social issue, social problem. This can be asked in the GS1 Indian Society section. Why such kind of problems exist in India, and they may also ask this thing in the governance section, GS2. So very important topic for us. And then we will also see about the MiG-21 aircraft. So this would be again revision for us regarding the aircrafts which we have for the Indian Air Force fighter aircrafts. Then there is a prelims related factual thing about the Henley Passport Index. So we'll also try to understand what is this is about. For it is important for the prelims. And the most important topic for today is the main topic, India's nuclear power promise. Then we will see about this thing. And rubber plantation in the Kerala. In your GS1 geography, you have factors of localization of the industries, and you also have about the cropping pattern, primary, secondary, tertiary industries. So this comes under the primary industry activity. So you also have the syllabus of cropping pattern in your geography prelims paper. So there also it becomes relevant from the current affair point of view as well as from the prelims section. So very important thing, because Kerala is one of the largest producer of the rubber. 90% of the rubber production comes from the Kerala itself within the India. So we need to be getting clarity about that thing. And then also some concept on the remote work. So they have mentioned some article like what are the pros and cons of the remote work, work from home kind of activities. So we'll see about this as well. These kind of questions can also be asked in the Indian society about how the changes happening in the work culture. Okay, what could be the implications of the work from home? So these kind of questions can be asked in the GS1 society, and they can also ask from the GS4 work culture ethical angle. And then, so we will also try to revise about the UNESCO because USA is trying to pull out of this UNESCO. So what could be the implications of it? We'll try to understand. Now, first question is, okay, so AK-203 rifles, we are importing it. Currently, not importing. Currently, we are going to construct it, manufacture them in the India itself, within the UP region. So previously we have acquired this technology from the Russia. Now we are going to manufacture them within the India. So this is again the promotion of the Make in India and also self-reliance in the defense technology. So these rifles are very advanced. Okay, so within 1 minute, 700 bullets can be fired. So previously, whatever the rifles which we have, that is this one. Okay, the rifle is Indian Small Arms System, INSAS. So it was introduced in the 1990s. This was also indigenous system, but they are heavy. So you might have seen in that movie, Shah Rukh Khan's movie. What is that movie? The recent movie. So they will get stuck in between. So if it is a winter season, Jawan movie, they'll show so the weapons will get jammed in the winter. This is so these things happen with these kind of weapon systems. So we have introduced the advanced technology. Now this AK-203, so they can fire 700 things, and they are also having they are also light in weight, so they can be easily carried, mobilized. So they become important part of our defense technology. See your significance, self-reliance. This will boost the Make in India with 100% indigenization goal and reducing the import reliance. Military upgrade replaces the 30-year-old INSAS. So it is also providing the security, the necessary safety that we required from the both internal as well as the external threats. So this is a very important value addition for from our defense point of view. And then this also creates a new kind of jobs every time. So why the defense technology, these things is important? There is always the economic angle. So in the future, we can also sell these products. Currently, we have seen already USA is the biggest player where they are exporting their defense products. During the Operation Sindoor, we were able to do the marketing of our defense products which have been developed indigenously. So after that, now some of the sales have also happened like Philippines, Southeast Asian countries. They have also purchased some of the items. So now these things will also boost India's defense production. Then we can also, as in the future, we may also get the more export promotion through this technology, and also it will also lead to the generation of the employment. So you need to think from the multiple angles. So you need to think from the security angle, you need to think from the economy angle, you need to think from the efficiency angle. So from all those angles, you need to talk about. Okay, so just have an idea. So it is a kind of joint venture. Now we are going to develop those things indigenously. A 5,200 crore deal signed in 2021 aims to produce over 6 lakh rifles with the delivery ahead of schedule by 22 months. About 48,000 rifles have been already delivered with 7,000 more in the 2 to 3 weeks and 15,000 by December 25. The project is 50% indigenized, aiming for 100% by end 2025. That's the significance. It will become eventually 100% indigenized product. Okay, so this is a part. So the Amethi, okay, so you in the UP region, so they are going to develop this thing. So this is again promoting such a kind of employment within the India. So have that clarity about this thing. Now the heading is missing. The heading has to be added. So this subheading I have added. This is about the article that was given in the manual regarding the manual scavenging. So what is this manual scavenging? So first you have the clarity. So government has banned this act of manual scavenging, considering it as a very inhumane activity. This can violate the human rights. Okay, and this can also cause the threat to the life of the human being who is involved in this. So they have banned this activity, but still this activity is going on. So basically, what is this manual scavenging? It is a hazardous practice of manually cleaning human waste from sewers, septic tanks or dry latrines without the protective gear or mechanization, often involving entry into the confined spaces. It is banned under the Prohibition of the Employment as a Manual Scavengers and the Rehabilitation Act, deemed dehumanizing and linked to the caste discrimination. Okay. So you have understood the definition. So they will enter into those areas and they will do the cleaning process. But of course, yes, because of the sanitation issues, hygiene issues, and sometimes many people will get will die in this process. They don't have any kind of protective gear, any kind of equipment with them to do this process. So you might have seen this in when this kind of floods and all happens, whatever the plastic, where there is no proper solid waste management, they will also get stuck in these drains. So in order to remove them, in order to clean them, so they will jump into these manholes. There is one movie, Hrithik Roshan's Dhoom. Have you seen? Okay. So there in the Dhoom 2, he will come from the manhole. Okay, he will rise it in. So I'm still thinking how in such a clean format he comes up from that manhole. Okay. So but generally what happens is when you jump in the manhole, you will die because of the toxic gases that are being released. That is the first thing. You will feel breathlessness because there is huge amount of the toxic waste, toxic material that is present, and because of the lack of oxygen availability also, the persons might die. So there is a need for proper protective gear, and also if not immediately, later on gradually through because of the diseases, sanitation issues and all, they might die. So there was a ban on this activity. So they said we should include some kind of robots or any kind of protective gear in order to involve in this kind of cleaning activities. But still, this practice is continued. This is as per the reports of the Ministry of Social Justice itself. Why this thing is in the news? Because government itself has released a report. There are so many people still dying because of this practice of manual scavenging, and so the debate has been started in the monsoon session of the Indian Parliament. So why this thing is happening? You have announced the various schemes, like Namaste scheme is there to do the rehabilitation of the people involved in these activities, and you have also banned this practice. But still, why is this continuing? This is the point of debate. Now see, for suppose I'm involved in this manual scavenging activity. Now government says, okay, you are banned from this. Okay, we are banning this activity, considering this as a inhuman practice. Now my children are there. My children are dependent on me for the food. I do not know any other activity. So eventually again I will go there. So whatever the rehabilitation they have, so they should be able to provide me good amount of funds and the skills so that I don't go this side and involve in this side. So we will do anything for our family, for our people, right? So they are helpless. So as they do not have any kind of employment activity, any other skills, so the same people, same section of the people who are involved in it since ages, they are again doing this thing. And the caste angle is also involved. Okay, not every caste is involved in this kind of activity. Only some from the so-called lower caste. Okay, they are involved in this activity. Okay, so this is cause of the concern. See, a government commissioned social audit revealed severe safety lapses in the severe and the septic tank cleaning deaths in India. The audit examined 54 deaths from 2022 to 2023 across the 8 states out of 150 total such deaths in those years. Key findings show over 90% of the victims had no safety gear or PPE kits, that is a protective gear. Equipment was often limited to the basic gloves. So they are providing them basic gloves and still they are continuing. Okay, I do not understand. Even after banning these activities, it is happening in the government department itself. They are only involving them. So they are providing some basic equipment and they are saying this is given to you, the equipment is provided to you, they do it. And while doing this thing, they are getting killed. Okay, see, no, this is the current affair thing. So this thing has to be taken into the exam hall. What students do the mistake is they will not write this kind of updated and enhanced content. So they will write what are the same reasons, what are the implications of outdated data which has been given some 2 years back, 3 years back. When you write the recent data in the current affairs, from the current affairs in the introduction, definitely you will get the more marks. So from that from that report, what they have highlighted is lack of equipment and the training. In 49 cases, no safety gear was provided. Okay, so this was the thing. Consent problems, no worker consent. So they were not given any kind of consent. And hiring practices. 38 workers were hired individually or personally, 5 by the government agencies, 3 by the public sector but subcontracted privately. Post-death actions, awareness drives after death happened only in 7 cases. So after the death also, there is a compensation thing. The compensation also do not happen. The awareness generation also do not happen. So this is the essence that is being spoken in this recent discussion. Okay, so this is a part. So what is the government is doing? That is a part that you need to do. Okay, 2013 manual scavenging ban, like through this act. Okay, the act name was mentioned here. What is the act? Prohibition of employment as a manual scavengers and the Rehabilitation Act. So they includes the component of the rehabilitation. To implement this thing, we have introduced a scheme, Namaste. Okay, so there in this scheme, they are talking about provision of the safety gear as well as the rehabilitation skill development. These things will be there on the paper. Okay, and government also totally underestimated the number. The people says there are somewhere around 1.2 million manual scavengers, but the government says there are only 20,000, 10,000, and accordingly the amount of funds allotted also less. So the proper rehabilitation, the redevelopment does not happen. So this is the main concern. See, this is again very important. Supreme Court judgments. Safai Karmachari Andolan. Here you need to understand 2 points. One thing, Safai Karmachari Andolan is a NGO. We have seen so many times the role of the NGOs, civil societies in the various discussions. Okay, I think previously also I have highlighted. See here, there is also NGOs involved. So now we hear again. So they are involved in this PILs. Now you have the topic of role of the civil societies and NGOs in your GS2 paper. There you have to utilize this example. Safai Karmachari Andolan. This is a civil society group who are trying to protect the interest of this particular community from stopping them entering into this manual scavenging. So they have filed the PL in the Supreme Court. There itself, the Supreme Court has given the judgment. Declared manual scavenging violates under Article 17. Okay, untouchability directly ban is there. Directed nationwide surveys, eradication and 10 lakh compensation per death. Later it was enhanced to the 30 lakhs and it also talks about the criminal prosecution. In the recent Balram Singh case versus Union of India, issued 14 directives for the 2013 Act implementation, especially regarding provision of this training kits, rehabilitation and all. Still it is getting continued. Okay, the question they will ask is this way. Where is it? Discuss the persistence of the manual scavenging in India despite constitutional provisions and the legislative bans. So you need to discuss why this thing is continuing despite having the protection from the constitution as well as the legal safeguards. Okay, evaluate the effectiveness of the government measures and suggest it and how we can eradicate it. So why it is continuing? So there is no enforcement, implementation gap is there, lack of awareness. See here, no mechanization in 87% of the cases. There are the tools or kits that are supposed to be provided, that is not happening in that cases. Okay, underreporting, deaths are called accidents. So they are not reporting as a kind of death that has happened because of the manual scavenging. They'll say it is an accident. So there is no proper reporting is also happening. So whatever the deaths that we have said in the 2022-2023, they are also underestimated. So firstly, we do not have the data. Even the report saying how many people are involved in this manual scavenging, even that is a underestimated report. Okay, the funds is limited. Again, the social factor is there. Social factor, that particular community and all. Okay, they are only being called. There is this work. Skilling is a major factor. Okay, and the contracting, the private hiring without the consent, government agencies outsource to the unregulated contracts. Okay, so this is a major point. Under identification, okay, this is what I have mentioned. Only 58,000 scavengers recognized versus the estimate of the 1.2 million and delayed the compensation. Now, this is the point that you have to highlight in this answer. So, how will you address this question? So, first you will talk from the current affairs. How much is the current situation of the manual scavenging? Okay, that data, that report that you will highlight, the initial part, the deaths we have mentioned. Okay, so you will highlight this thing, and then you will talk about whatever the constitutional protections that are there and legal protections that are there that you will talk about. Okay, so this data you will talk about in the introduction. Then you will talk about the Article 17, Article 14, Article 21. So and even Article 46 measures that DPSV measures protection for the well-being of the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes community. So these are the constitutional measures are there, but still these things are happening, and legal methods are also there, especially this Manual Scavenging Abolition Act is there, and the Namaste scheme is there, but still this is happening. Why it is happening? So then you will talk about underestimation, underreporting, contracts that are being done, okay, without, there is no consent. Even the post-death, there is no compensation, and then there is no rehabilitation, there is no awareness generation. So you have to generate the content from these points. Okay, the main thing is a social problem. There is a situation of the always in India. Okay, that every problem is associated with the religion, caste, those things. Okay, see, in some other countries it is always a class problem. Here in India it is a caste problem. You understand the difference? Class problem, rich, middle class, lower class. Okay, these kind of problems are there. Class problems. Here in India we have social problem. Okay, that is associated with the caste and the religion. This particular caste, this thing, this thing. Okay, all those rubbish nonsenses are there. So they are not allowing a group of community to properly rehabilitate and get integrated into the society. So those stereotypes, those stigma, for suppose I am belonging to that community. Okay, I want to get rehabilitated. I want to enter into my village and do some other activity. What if other people are not providing me the job? I got upskilled. Okay, I got upskilled to do some kind of maybe stitching or any kind of construction activity. Okay, but what if, okay, they are considering me, the person has been involved previously in the Manual Scavenging Act. So they will discriminate. This will happen. So previously you have been involved in this. So what kind of diseases they might have? Okay, so what kind of things they might have? Okay, they are not supposed to be entered into the main community. This is what happens at the ground level. Okay, this is what you need to change when you get into the administration or wherever you go. Create that impact. So when you are above all these things, above all these factors, automatically people will feel shy around you to practice these kind of things. Okay, they will hesitate. Okay, then they will gradually change. Okay, so at least from our end, we should be taking very tough stand. We should be taking very strong stand. There is no if and buts. If and buts kind of things is between when there are two rights and you are confused with choosing between the two rights, then there is an ethical dilemma. Ethical dilemma will be there. There are two things. For suppose you want to work or you want to study. Both of them are right. You are preparing for the UPSC civil services or you want to take a job. Nothing is wrong. Both of them are right. Now you are in a dilemma. Okay. For suppose this is a outright wrong. So there is no ethical dilemma. This is ethical concern, ethical issue. Okay. You have to take the outright stand whenever you come across a thing. Generally, even in the talks also, okay, people will say this thing is you. There itself, stop. Don't make that kind of comments. Okay, that should be there. See here, another thing, tech initiative. Bandicoot is a kind of robot. Now, in the science and technology, they will ask role of the robotic technology. Okay, so now these kind of robots can help in doing this kind of hazardous activities, hazardous cleaning. So even these robots can also, for suppose some kind of demolition has happened, earthquake has happened, small robots can enter through these small spaces and can check whether the person is stuck anywhere in between. Okay, so they can also play the role in rescue and relief support. Okay, so the role of robots is also very important. We can make sure these robots are doing this hazardous activities in the industries, chemical industries. Okay, in the same thing, we can also send these robots to the space because as a human being, we might get exposed to this hazardous elements. So the role of the robots, now these days robots are also involved in this, doing this surgeries. Okay, robotic surgeries and all. So you need to understand, I'm just opening up your mind. Robotics, all these are the new evolved technology. Fourth industrial revolution is based on this thing. First, based on generally machines. Second thing is based on your What is the second thing is based on the computers and all. Third thing is based on the IT. And the fourth thing is based on all these things where you are using about the AI, robotics, Internet of Things and all. So those things are happening. So where we are talking about the upskilling. So this way the questions can ask. If India is lagging behind, not just on the economy front, we are also affected on all this. So very important. Safai Karmachari Andolan versus Union of India. By heart these things. Balram Singh versus Union of India. Okay, so now see here. In the Orissa, they have introduced a scheme. I have mentioned it here. If you can see here. Okay, in the Orissa, the Garima scheme ensures a full PPE protection scheme. Okay, through this scheme, they were able to provide the protection measures. Okay, clear? Now try to answer this question. Now, if this kind of question has come to you, Rashtriya Garima Abhiyan is a national campaign. Is related to what? Now, based on what word you will try to answer? Garima. So, Garima should give you the clarity, okay, some kind of smartness, okay. You might not be aware about the scheme, but you have read in the news about the Orissa's Garima thing. So, it must be related to the manual scavenging. That's how you will take the intelligent guess. So, that's how the answer becomes about the eradicating the practice of the manual scavenging and rehabilitating the manual scavengers. Okay, so that is the answer. Okay, so there is another question. So try this question. Which is the following is a medium surface to air missile? In 2006, okay, those days the questions were like this. Very okay. Now these days they don't ask. Maybe in one statement they may put this thing. Okay, we have seen this thing Patna. Okay, what is the Patna is under which program? What is that program that I was talking about? Indira Gandhi time period. What is that program? Missile Development Program. Okay, Indira Gandhi IG. So Abdul Kalam's initiative of the Missile Development Program, where we have discussed about the Patna. Okay, Prithvi, Akash, Trishul, Nag, Agni. So we have discussed how various missiles have been developed for the India for the protection, self-reliance. So from there they are asking. So here what is the concept is which one of the following is a medium range surface to air. So you need to have the clarity. Nag means anti-tag. Prithvi means it is about the surface to surface. So it is about the Trishul or the Akash. At least this much you should be able to arrive. Surface to air. So which should be the thing? It is when we say medium range, probably it should be there are of them. So Akash. So Trishul it should be smaller range. Okay, it would be smaller range. We have already discussed. Recently we have discussed Akash regarding what? I have told you. Something we have came across the Akash recently. Very important news. Under one program we are trying to develop. Not the Akash Tir. Air defense systems we have discussed. Okay, so to interrupt any kind of incoming missiles, so we are upgrading this Akash system we have discussed. Okay, so very important initiative. Okay, so to stop or interrupt any kind of incoming missile threat from surface to air. Okay, so have the clarity. They will not ask the question, but this question, but you need to have that clarity in the mind. Okay, this concept Prithvi, Trishul, Akash, Nag. So these informations will be helpful for you to arrive at a right answer, to eliminate the possible wrong answers. So definitely your probability of making that question right will increase. Okay, the other person is doing the random guess, but you are not doing a random guess. Yes, at least you are able to eliminate 50% of the wrong options. So of course our chances of making it right will be high, right? So try to revise. Short range, not the medium range. Nag is a anti-tank guided missile. Okay, Prithvi is a short range surface to surface ballistic missile. Okay, clear? So MiG-21. So basically we have taken in the 1960s. I have told you recently also what is the aircraft that has been grounded. Recently accident was happened. Okay, I told you about the one. What is that one more aircraft that has been recently met with the accident. So this is the MiG. This is considered as a kind of death coffin. One of the fighter jet that was been seen that has met with the accident. Okay, even I forgot what is it. I think Sukhoi. Okay, if I'm not wrong, maybe Sukhoi or some other thing. Okay, so basically point is these aircrafts we have purchased these things in the 1960s and 1970s. Now see, these are like 1960s and 1970s car. Now you are loading them with the new things, okay, music system, okay, new things and all, okay, automated vehicle system. So you are trying to upgrade, but the engine is same thing. So somewhere it will give up. The same thing is happening. You are purchasing them in the 1960s. Now you are trying to load them with heavy missiles, load them with the new technologies like radars, sensors, okay, radio frequencies, all those things you are loading them. So the same machine, it will not be able to take and meet with the accidents. So many accidents has happened regarding the MiG. So that's why we are getting rid of them, and we are also developing what is the aircraft that we are developing by the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. What is that aircraft? What is it? Light. It starts with L. What is that aircraft? HAL. 4.5 generation. You will get affected if you don't revise. LCA, that is the most important concept that I have told. Okay, LCA, light compact aircraft, 4.5 generation. We are also purchasing the Rafale, and we are also trying to develop the 5th generation fighter aircraft. Okay, so those are the points that you have to remember. Okay, so we are going to get rid of this thing, but this thing was very helpful for us during the 1971 war, 1999 Kargil war and all. So this is nicknamed as a flying coffin because of the safety issues. So many accidents has happened. See here, the jets, these jets, once the IAF's Indian Air Force backbone, have faced criticism due to the frequent crashes and will be replaced by the indigenous light combat aircraft. These things has to come to your mouth again and again, again and again. Okay, you have to revise. Okay, light compact aircraft, or else it will not make sense. No matter, even if you just sit and watch for 5 years, still you will not be able to consolidate it. Just, I'm not asking you to have the clarity on entire things. At least when I ask the basic fundamental question, what is the indigenous aircraft that we are trying to develop? Okay, from this HAL and all. So you should be able to say at least L, C, A. Okay, so there itself I have discussed about the engine, right? Kaveri engine we have discussed. So currently we are importing the GE engines. Here also, when you see, currently now we are also importing the Apache aircrafts from the USA. There also I'll talk. So there also you'll see the engines are made up of the GE engines. So we want to become the self-reliant. So there also we are developing the Kaveri engines. Okay, so you need to revise those things. Okay, so see here, since 1960, killing more than 170 pilots. So that is a problem. So LCA Tejas Mark 1. So Mark 1A is a modern 4.5 generation fighter aircraft with advanced avionics, which replaces the MiG-21. So this is a point. Next factual thing is a Henley Passport Index. Basically, it tries to rank your passport, how powerful your passport is. If you have that passport, through using that passport, how many countries you can visit. So how many countries India can visit, based on that the ranking is given. Okay, so you can currently visit 59 countries using your passport. You don't need the visa. Okay, that means when you land there, so they will give you, you don't need visa. It is not the same visa on arrival kind of thing. So there you can go and you will say simple documentation, and you can stay there for 1 month, 2 months. Okay, so again you can come back. So like maybe if you want to visit the Singapore, okay, Nepal, Bhutan, all those many countries are there. So you can go, fly, 1 week, enjoy, come back. Okay, so this is the thing. So if more countries allows you, then your passport is much more stronger. So India's rank is currently at the 77th position. It is up from the 80. Though the number of countries India can access has come down. Previously it is 62, but now it has come down to the 59. Okay, the highest, best rank is there for the Singapore, 194 visa-free destination. So that is a point that you have to understand. So how they provide the data? Who is providing the data? Henley and the partners, a London-based global citizenship and the residence advisory firm, using the data from the International Air Transport Association. Okay, they use the data base to provide this kind of ranking. Visa-free score, data source and all. So I have tried to given a destination scores of 1 if no visa is required. A visa is obtained on arrival or on electronic authorization applies. 0 if pre-departure visa is needed. So based on this thing, we do the ranking. Very simple factual thing that you have to remember. How strong is your passport? Okay. So Apache aircrafts. So these things we are purchasing from the USA. Apache attack aircrafts from the, helicopters from the USA. So they have been delayed by the 50 months from the May 2024 due to the supply issues. Okay, so this is also thing. They are also modernized. So they can also fly during the night times. So they are also both attack. So as they can also do the surveillance. rescue, relief, reconnaissance. So all those activities they can do. Okay, not just about the just monitoring surveillance. They can also be involved in the attack purposes. Okay, focus is primarily on the Western Pakistan, like with the Pakistan for operation in the tough terrains. Again, this is also see operational boost, overcoming hurdles, and this also strengthens our defense cooperation with the USA. So all those things. So we are strengthening our defense capacities. Okay, so those things. So there, like say when they ask about the questions for us on the defense capacity, defense strengths, so you should be having the content on the multiple fronts. We are talking about the drones, we are talking about the indigenization, we are talking about the submarines, we are talking about the aircrafts, helicopters. So all those things, the heavy content should appear in your papers, question paper. So if I am looking at your content, I should be impressed. If the person who is studying for the 1 year, 2 years, so definitely I will be able to easily identify. The questions will be content rich. So that is a must and should. Always the most important rule is content is the king. First you should have the content to that level. So 80% of the competition is gone there itself. Not every student will have that kind of content. No. Now that itself is not going to take you to the success. Like, okay, I had the very great content, but somehow with some issues, some mistakes, I couldn't make it. Okay, my content was always very good, even those times. And that is required. That is the most essential thing. After that, beyond that also certain other things are required. So there definitely you can work it out. You can talk to the mentors, you can talk to the faculties. There I am stuck, here I am stuck, how to improve that 2 marks, 3 marks, okay, narrow margin. So those things will come later on. But if your content itself is not ready, nothing will help. So content comes from the classrooms, content, revision, PDFs and all. So first initially by heart the content. Understand the concept and by heart. Understand and by heart. If anything is missing, then again a problem. If you are not understanding and by hearting, again a problem. If you are just understanding but not by hearting, then you will not be able to put on the paper. You are not at a stage to generate your own content by having a conceptual clarity. No, you are not at that stage yet already. Okay, so you need to reach to that stage. Okay, so you see here now in this question, in this topic, I will not get into very details. So just basically I'll see very technologically advanced. So it has radars, night vision, digital communications and all, engine performance. See here G engine, this is what I was talking about, which because basically is manufactured from the USA. Currently both the Indian Army and the Indian Air Force are using it. So this is the point that you have to talk about. So now nuclear power program. See here, see now many students when I see the diagram, they will only draw that circle and like this from there, the lines will come. Okay, so that is not the only diagram. See here, now they are talking about the nuclear energy, how the growth happens, say from 4 gigawatts to 8 gigawatts. So this is one way to highlight the diagram. So you need to use different diagrams. So what this article says, even in the 2025 budget, what we have focused is, in order to become the energy self-sufficiency in the energy sector, and also to reduce our dependence on the other countries, and also to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions and to meet our INDC targets, which we have discussed, right? INDC targets COP 26, related by heart. I am not revising it again. To meet those things, for all those purposes, nuclear energy is required for us. But currently it is around 8 gigawatts. It should at least increase 3 to 4 times. So it should, by 2047, it should reach till 100 gigawatts. Okay, but the investment is not happening. Why the investment is not happening? What are the issues? That's what is discussed in the article. Again, a very beautiful article, nicely discussed. So we need to have the clarity first about the what is the government's target. See here, nuclear energy mission for the Viksit Bharat. It was announced in the budget 2025. See, that's how when the article comes, we will go get back into the previous topics also. So this was discussed in the budget. So I have tried to attach that content here. So nuclear energy mission, where they will be focusing on the small modular reactors. When I say about the nuclear reactors, I told you this can be very big and they can cause a huge amount of disasters. So they are focusing on the small modular reactor. So where they are not that big in size, where the possibilities of the disasters can be lowered. So they are doing investment on the small modular reactors, not the big reactors. So that is the first point. At least 5 indigenously developed the small modular reactors, and they are also providing the outlay of the 20,000 crores is provided for the mission, nuclear energy mission. So this can be a potential question. Previously also we have seen multiple times the articles coming on the nuclear energy. So very high chances on the GS3 this year mains, they may ask something related to this thing, because we are promoting, but the investment is not coming. Because currently only public sector has a monopoly in the mining of the nuclear material. Okay, so they are saying you should provide some kind of freedom, some kind of autonomy even for the private sector to enter. And we have also discussed that we have Civil Nuclear Liability Act, which is very strong. Okay, we have discussed those provisions section 17B and section 47, I guess, 47B, Civil Nuclear Liability Act. Go back to your PDF and revise. So we have discussed two clauses there, where it can impose the absolute liability on the supplier, basically on the operator, who has taken the material from the supplier and operating here is the operator, and one person who is supplying the material is the supplier. So usually the international practice is operator's liability. Through our act, Civil Nuclear Liability Act, we also hold supplier accountable if they supply the faulty and the defective equipment. So from then onwards, because of these two primary reasons, where there is a monopoly on mining and extracting of the nuclear material fuels like uranium, and the second thing is the Civil Nuclear Liability Act, private investment is coming down. There is no private investment. The private players, they are not doing any kind of risk. They are not investing in India after 2010, except the Russia's Kodamkulam, which has also been halted because of the local protests. Locally, the people are also protesting against because they do not want such a kind of potential harmful plant in the nearby their vicinities. Okay, they are scared. They are worried because if any kind of this is in the Tamil Nadu coast. If it is the region affected by the tsunami, like it has happened in 2004, it can be disastrous in India, considering the safety things we take. Okay, so these are the three prime reasons they are talking about. Okay, so see here the nuclear, this is the nuclear energy mission. So remember this nuclear energy mission that I was talking about. Okay, where they are trying to develop the small modular reactors. Okay, so this is what they are talking about. See, key challenges: government monopoly. Nuclear power is reserved for the government under the Atomic Energy Act. Okay, 1962. Okay, this is the NPCL government company builds or operates most of the plants. So this has to change. This government thing has to change. Only two things government can have the monopoly. One is atomic energy, and another thing is defense. So many private sector players are there. Railways, atomic energy and the railways. Currently, there is a yes. That some of the department that IRCTC is now slowly getting privatized. Okay, but there is monopoly on the lanes, whatever the operation that is there and all. So currently, there are the two areas that is having a monopoly. In other areas, you need only licenses. In the arms, ammunition, chemical industries. So there you need only license. There is no monopoly. But currently, these are the two areas where there is a monopoly that is there. Okay, remember this fact. And then Civil Nuclear Liability Act issues. This also deters the foreign partners. This is what I have discussed. Okay, and nuclear projects need more upfront money. Long 50 to 60 year life cycle and expenses for decommissioning or the waste management. So if I have to start the nuclear plant, so you need huge amount of the money. This is also one of the challenge. And again, tariffs issues. So in the generally, as per your Electricity Act 2003, okay, you have the State Electricity Board and the DISCOMs. So they will generally state governments will decide the tariffs. Okay, what should be the tariffs and all. Though they will say to the DISCOMs, this should be the tariff, and that is how it is generated. But if the energy is generated to the nuclear energy, then it will come under the Atomic Energy Act. So this is causing a disputes between the state DISCOM and the NPCL. So some court issue is going on. So NPCL will say, I will set the price because the energy has come from the energy supply is coming from the nuclear fuel, uranium. But as for the Electricity Act, who is the body that is going to decide? DISCOM, state DISCOM, the tariffs that has to be. So there is a conflict between the two regulatory bodies, two government companies, they are in conflict with each other. So this is a very important thing. Generally, whenever I say see the static book, I don't see these points that are getting highlighted. So whenever you read the current affairs, so your content will definitely get enriched. So I really liked this point, tariff issue. So when you write these points, definitely you will get the extra edge. Other person is getting 4.5 marks, you will get the 5 marks because of this point. Again, this is always the issue in everywhere. So whatever the regulatory body is there, Atomic Energy Regulatory Board, that should be autonomous. That should have the total freedom. Such a huge body that is taking care of the nuclear facilities, it should be independent. It should not be subordinate to the Department of the Atomic Energy. It is not independent. Okay. If any private player has to intervene, for suppose he has to invest in the nuclear energy. Okay. Then he will see it is government control, government monopoly, whatever the bodies NPCL and all. It is a totally government control. And even the regulator, it is not the neutral. It is under the government control. Will he invest? So he will feel it is biased towards the government. There is no independent regulatory body. So if something dispute happens to me, regulatory body will not take what is a fair thing. It will take the side of the government because it is not autonomous. So why would the private player will invest? Right? There should be autonomous regulatory body. So you have the new topic in your GS2, regulatory bodies. Okay, because the things government is involved in many activities, various departments are coming. In order to bring the regulations, there are the regulatory bodies like you have the TRAI, you have the RBI, you have the SEBI to handle one particular area, to release the rules, to provide the regulations. Between the law, okay, below the law comes the regulation. Okay, if everything is totally passed through the law, then we'll call it as a law. Okay, when it is passed through the parliament and president assembly. Something below that comes the regulations. Okay, for that to handle those things, to provide the autonomy, to provide the neutrality, to attract the private investment, you have the regulatory bodies. Sometimes there is a conflict between the regulatory bodies also. This is a point that you have to mention as an example in your GS2 under the concept of the regulatory bodies. Are we clear? So we need the reforms under this thing. Classify nuclear energy as renewable for tax breaks. So they are talking about provide more kind of viability gap funding, provide more kind of tax breaks and all. Okay, amend the Atomic Energy Act to allow the private participation. Okay, and also involve the private sector, make AERB a legally independent thing that they are talking about. Okay, so they are talking about these things that we have to make. Viability gap funding means, for suppose I wanted to do some kind of business, but I do not have the money. I want to do with the government sector. Okay, so government is providing some kind of extra fund to make the project viable. So viability gap funding. Are we clear? So what are the government initiatives? Bharat Small Modular Reactors, that is the same thing, 30 to 300 megawatts they are trying to plan. Recent developments in this area, in this sector. Okay, this thing I have taken from the PIB also. So Kakra Power Unit 3 and 4 started commercial operations. Uranium discovery at the Jaduguda mines. So they may even ask in your geography, discuss the resource distribution, uranium distribution in India. So I am expecting this question from very long back. It did not happen, but whenever I expect questions, someday it might happen. Who knows? Maybe when you are writing the mains, they may ask, because other areas have been already asked by the UPSC. This is the area that is left, uranium distribution. This question is part of your geography, resource distribution. Resources is very important part. So Jaduguda, Navapahar. So when I was preparing for this thing, I used to cram that way. Jaduguda, Navapahar, okay, those in Gogi region, okay, and so those things, okay, Addagattu, Tumlapalli. So those things I don't even remember now, okay, and also just they are coming out of my mind. Like say when I used to wake up early and I used to remember by heart these things like this. Because for the mains I have to pour out. Now I have the conceptual clarity. Who cares about the conceptual clarity? Whoever is evaluating, they will evaluate or judge you based on what you have written there. So conceptual clarity can help, but that is not going to give you the selection. So you need to pour that facts also. So I have not gotten into that thing, but you need to study that thing. Okay, so that is a part. Now rubber plantation. See from here, from this trunk of the tree, like this, the material that will keep coming out, that will be collected and rubber will be developed. So now what is happening is, insect, what is this? Okay, the invasive one, okay, ambrosia beetle, okay, that is forming a kind of relationship with the two fungi species, and this is called this beetle and fungi combo. It is creating the holes in the tree and they are extracting the nutrients of the tree. Eventually tree is dying. Now this is a very severe problem for us. Okay, if it's not taken care, antifungal treatment, something has to be provided. If not taken care, then this is going to affect the rubber promotion from the India. So who is the largest producer of the rubber? It is a Kerala. 90% of the production comes from the Kerala. Then who is in the world? So Indonesia is second. I think Thailand should be the first. Where is it? This is the part, right? This is the part. Thailand is the largest producer, followed by the Indonesia, and we also have this rubber act. It has established the rubber board. You have seen this year question on the turmeric board. They have asked. Okay, they have asked on the turmeric board where its headquarters is. Now rubber is in the news. They may ask. So you have a statutory body called the rubber board to promote this rubber. under the Rubber Act 1947 with the headquarters in the Kottayam, Kerala. Of course, Kerala is the major producer, so there will be headquarters in the Kerala only. Okay. Turmeric, yes. Yes, yes. So India is the world's 6th largest rubber producer and second in the productivity, Kerala accounting for the 90%. Okay, still in order to meet the needs, domestic need, despite this thing, we also import. We also import the large amount of the rubber. See here, this is how the damage happens for the rubber. That is a point that you need to remember. So people are also thinking about mitigation includes the antifungal treatment, removing the infected parts, traps, and exploring the GM rubber. The way we have the GM cotton. Okay, automatically, naturally, when they bite, so some kind of chemicals will be released and they will die. The pest will be die. So something we are also working on this GM rubber. See now this is also again important, climatic conditions. Kerala region has a very high rainfall. So that is also one of the reasons that is playing well for your rubber cultivation. 200 to 400 centimeters is required, evenly distributed. Excess or deficit causes the stress. Kerala region comes, this is your Western Ghats area. So this southwest monsoon, during the southwest monsoon time period, you will receive very heavy rainfall. Primarily your monsoon rainfall is a orographic rainfall. Wherever the orography is there, orography means any highland. Primarily it is mountain. So whenever they try to climb these mountains, I assume this way, okay, I am carrying a heavy bag. So I have to climb the mountain. I will not be able to carry. So I will drop the bag there. So in the same way, monsoons are the wind systems which are carrying the moisture in it. But they can't carry the moisture and they will drop the huge amount of the moisture. So that's why on the windward side, you will get the heavy rainfall. When I descend on the leeward side, there is no more moisture is left. That's why on the other side, when you see towards the Kerala, like even for the Karnataka, your Andhra Pradesh, Rayalaseema, these areas, these are the dry areas. Even the Tamil Nadu's western part, eastern part receives the rainfall, Coromandel coast through the northeast monsoon. The western part is also again dry because of the same factor. Clear? So you need to have the clarity, 20 to 35 degrees centigrade, 200 to 400 centimeters, high humidity is required. So elevation is also required up to 500 to 1000 meters, sensitive to the droughts and the floods. Okay, so very important point. That is a point that you have to remember. Now work from home. So during the time of the COVID, work from home activities are increased. The basic essence is, first thing, work from home activities, the amount of activity they are providing to you is coming down. So with the work from home activities, stress is increasing more and more. So there is blurring of the lines. I see from my friends, they say, okay, even if it is 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, you're anyway working from the home. So even after the office timings, they are calling. Small activity, call, pick it up a call. So there is no such a kind of division, work time and the regular time. I have seen this thing, even if you have seen in the IT, some of the companies, like, they are like parasites. Okay, so somewhere around 9, 10 also they will call you. Okay, so they will not say anything, but if you don't work, so definitely they will note it down somewhere, sometime. Its impact will be there. So I have seen people who are feeling stressed out, especially women. Okay, so when they have to also take care of the family and all. So this is increasing the double burden for them. So this is causing also the problem. And also on the other side, some people also have seen they are involved in this moonlighting jobs. That means they are involved in the dual jobs. Work from home, here also work from home, and somewhere, some contracts they are taking up. So this is a kind of not allowed, a kind of activity, a grey area where you are not supposed to do. In your work timings, you are not supposed to pick up another work. Because of this work from home activities, now this is also lost to the employer, right? So this is called moonlighting. Okay, so the UPSC has asked question 2 years back itself. UPSC will always stay ahead. So only when you read the newspapers, when you are clear with the present concepts, then only you will be able to answer. So moonlighting jobs. Okay, so they are, so these are the moon. You are doing the 2 jobs, work from home. You are not supposed to do. Okay, I am your employer, I am giving you some job. So you are not putting heavy efficiency there. So in this meanwhile, since I am giving you the work from home, you are utilizing the time, that gap, and you are working for some other company. That is not allowed. Okay. So on the positive side, can you see here the floods? Can you see the traffic during the monsoon time period and all? This noise itself will cause huge amount of irritation and kind of mental health issues. Okay, so for me, it is just 1 kilometer away my home is. So sometimes when there is a signal from the behind, okay, they're like honking like this, beep, beep, beep. There is signal. I don't understand what is the purpose behind honking like that. So it feels like at least I threw that so basically it irritates you like that. Those noise pollutions and also at the same time air pollution. And if it is rainy season, you can imagine if you have to travel very long. So this work from home scenarios are at least reducing the traffic, reducing the mental tension, giving you some family time also. Definitely I have seen the people like somehow they recently got married and COVID time and they got the work from home. So they were able to spend very good time with the families. They were able to see the children growing also. This is a very huge concern. Many people who are the new parents, they want their children to see growing. It does not happen. They will be staying outside for 12-13 hours. Okay, but this is providing them that opportunity. So these are the pros and the cons. Okay, cost saving, productivity boost. So when I am very good at that thing, productivity will be boost. But this is happening. Okay, but the people see another thing. Socialization is also not happening. People are getting into depression. When they get into the office, they'll talk to few people. They will interact, socialize. But what happens when they are sitting and isolated? Then again depression. No one to speak, no one to talk. This is also happening. So just wife and husband. After some period, they'll fight with each other. Okay, so these things, social problems that are also having, and productivity issues also. Sometimes we need the coordination. Okay, that kind of company coordination is also required. That is also getting affected. So have the clarity on those things. Now, see, USA has come out of this UNESCO. We have already discussed UNESCO. Where did we discuss? While discussing something, World Heritage Sites. Okay, we have discussed cultural sites, natural sites. Have given you the list also. When the Marathas, those forts. Okay, so you need to revise those things, and also you need to revise the UNESCO. UNESCO headquarters is in Paris, and India is one of the founding member. Now, why the USA is withdrawing? USA will keep doing this. I do not know. Suddenly, Trump will wake up. Okay, I'll do this thing. Okay, so this is the already in the previous regime also. He has came out of this grouping. Later on, Biden, he again entered into this. Now again, he has left this grouping. Okay, I don't know why he certain things. So they are saying. So UNESCO has taken the stand against the Israel. Fine, good thing. Anything which is right, that has to be taken. Okay, so they did not like it. They are saying it is a anti-Israel and the anti-USA woke agenda. So they have released some kind of tools. Okay, woke agenda means woke policies means you are taking some kind of stand against the social issues. But when I say woke policies, that means they are highlighting it as a kind of negativity. Understand the point when you write the term. They are saying they are highlighting this point from the negative connotation. They are saying it in terms of taking you to the higher level, okay, extreme level. For suppose I am the one supporting the equality, non-racial discrimination and all. But when I take it to the extreme level, when I say this should happen, those things, then someone will say these are the kind of woke policies. You are taking to the extreme level. Equality should be there, but you are taking it to the extreme level. This is called the woke policy. So Trump is criticizing the UNESCO for the woke policies because they have introduced the policies like anti-racism toolkit, pushing race to the top for the social justice and gender initiatives. Like they are trying to promote the gender equality between the two different groupings and all. They are trying to promote this thing, but this was rejected by this thing. And they also say China is the second largest funder. So USA say UNESCO is becoming the mouthpiece of the China. Of course, USA is withdrawing all the time. So now who is going to get benefited? China is the one going to get benefited. Okay. So because of the Trump policies, now say they are also saying that we are also going to impose the sanctions. So they are weakening India and like this by withdrawing and all, they are actually strengthening China. Because of the Trump policies, China has become very powerful. Okay, they have pre-planned some things, okay, of 10 years ahead, 20 years ahead, realizing this thing. So basically whatever the things they are doing, it is affecting USA only and it is also affecting India, and China is becoming much more stronger. So you need to revise this thing, revise very well. Okay, science, culture, and this is also thing which takes care of the man and biosphere program. Okay, you also have the biosphere reserves in India. Some of those biosphere reserves are recognized globally, and those are called the UNESCO's man and biosphere program. Okay, we have seen biosphere reserve is one of the protected area. So that's all for today. Thank you for the discussion. Please revise the content.